For longtime viewers of General Hospital, few character exits have left a void as pronounced, and as emotionally jarring, as the supposed death of Britt Westbourne. Audiences grieved as they watched Liesl Albrecht cradle her dying daughter, struck down by the serial killer known as the Hook. Yet for many, a seed of doubt remained. The circumstances surrounding Britt's death never fully settled, and whispers among fans only grew louder when Jason Morgan spotted a familiar figure boarding a plane. That woman, unmistakably to him, was Britt. And now, with mounting clues and deep narrative threads resurfacing, the pieces of this so-called mystery begin to coalesce into something much larger than a miraculous survival. A calculated return that promises to upend Port Charles forever. First, consider the structure of daytime drama and its long-established relationship with death. In a world where characters come back from comas, cryogenic suspension, memory loss, and even presumed murder, the idea that Britt survived the Hook's attack is no more outrageous than the dozens of dramatic reversals viewers have accepted over the years. But what makes this particular resurrection compelling is the show's deliberate orchestration of Jason's point of view. When Jason saw the woman boarding the plane, his recognition wasn't casual, it was electric. Jason Morgan doesn't chase ghosts. For him to take off in pursuit of this woman confirms that it wasn't a hallucination, or a doppelganger, or a wistful memory. He saw Britt. And that changes everything. The show's decision not to suggest the existence of a twin, clone, or long-lost relative to explain Britt's possible reappearance is also telling. General Hospital has leaned into those sci-fi adjacent tropes before, but this time, the creative direction suggests something different, something grounded. There's no attempt to redefine or replace Britt. What we're witnessing, potentially, is her authentic return, with all the emotional weight and unfinished business that entails. That, more than any twist or gimmick, is what makes this development so thrilling. The resurrection of a character with a fully formed emotional arc and deep connections to key players on the canvas. In fact, the writers have been subtly laying the groundwork for this seismic twist. One curious detail that recently emerged is the renewed interest in Britt's biological role in Rocco Falconeri's life. Brooke Lim Quartermain, never one to miss an opportunity to settle old scores, has begun referencing Britt's history with Rocco. Longtime viewers will recall that Britt once passed herself off as the mother of Lulu and Dante's child after stealing their embryo and implanting it into herself with Albrecht's assistance. For a time, she convinced Port Charles, and herself, that she was the mother of Patrick Drake's child, masking a lie built on pain, shame, and desperation. That story ended in heartache for all parties involved, but if the show had truly put Britt's memory to rest, why resurrect that specific trauma now? The answer seems increasingly obvious. Britt is alive, and the emotional reckoning she brings with her is already in motion. Rocco, curious about the woman who once claimed to be his mother, has reached out to Liesl for answers. And Liesl, whose maternal instincts have been both her strength and her undoing, is now confronted with the possibility that she may not have buried her daughter after all. The floodgates are creaking open. Then there's Jason. The man whose life has always been defined by sacrifice, secrecy, and second chances. His relationship with Britt, though brief, was transformative. She saw past his stoicism and into his wounded soul. He, in turn, glimpsed the better version of himself through her eyes. Sacha Corbin once told Jason that he deserved someone to share his life with. For a fleeting moment, it looked like that person might be Britt. But circumstances, specifically Jason's staged marriage to Carly to protect their criminal enterprise in Sonny's absence, snatched that possibility away before it had time to bloom. Jason never got closure. Neither did Britt. Neither did viewers. Now, as Jason boards a flight to chase the woman he thought he lost forever, the past comes rushing back. In a poignant narrative gesture, the writers allow Jason a moment of reflection. On the plane, memories of Britt, flickers of laughter and vulnerability, remind him, and us, of what was stolen. The choice to show these flashbacks is deliberate. It is a promise to the audience: this is not a tease. This is the beginning of something real. But what kind of return are we talking about? Is Britt operating under a new identity? Was she in hiding, perhaps protected by a WSB witness protection program? Could she have faked her death for reasons yet to be revealed, perhaps to protect someone, or to escape an enemy even more dangerous than the Hook? These are questions the show seems eager to explore. And in answering them, the writers have an opportunity to deepen Britt's redemption arc, to weave her return into the fabric of current storylines, and to give her the narrative dignity she was denied in her original exit. Port Charles has changed since Britt's death, but her impact remains. Her friendship with Brad, her fractured bond with her mother, her unresolved connection to Maxie, and most of all, her relationship with Jason, all of it is rich terrain for storytelling. Imagine the emotional fallout when Britt steps back into those lives. Liesl's devotion could tilt into obsession. Jason's stoic resolve might finally crack. Carly, ever territorial, could view Britt's return as a threat. And Sonny, who has always had a complicated relationship with Jason's romantic choices, may find himself re-evaluating his assumptions. Meanwhile, Britt may discover that survival came at a steep price. She's no longer the same woman who left. Nor should she be. The most powerful resurrections on General Hospital are not merely physical, they are emotional. Characters return not just to rejoin the action, but to confront the ghosts they left behind. For Britt, that means facing Rocco, who now sees her as the woman who tried to steal his life. It means reckoning with Patrick's memory, with her own moral compromises, and with the long shadow of her family's crimes. And it means facing Jason, not as the man she might have loved, but as the man she may yet build something with, if the past can be forgiven. The timing of this twist is also impeccable. With Jason recently reintroduced into the canvas and Britt's name echoing through old storylines, the groundwork has been laid for a reunion that could define the next chapter of General Hospital. This isn't just about fan service. It's about honoring the emotional logic of the show. Britt's story was left incomplete. Her character was evolving. Her departure was abrupt, almost cruel. Bringing her back allows the writers to restore balance to a story that veered off course, to reclaim the potential that was so cruelly cut short. And then there's the question of what Britt knows, what secrets she's been holding all this time. If she faked her death, who helped her? Who else knew? And most importantly, why now? Why reveal herself now, when so many other players are scrambling for control, power, and truth in Port Charles? Could her return have implications beyond personal relationships, perhaps tied to the WSB, to secrets buried deep in Cassadine lore, or even to unfinished business with Cyrus Renault or other shadowy figures? We don't yet know. But one thing is certain. The moment Jason laid eyes on that woman and saw Britt in her, truly saw her, the course of the show shifted. What comes next could rewrite history, expose lies, and redefine legacies. Britt Westbourne is no longer just a memory. She is a catalyst. And Port Charles will never be the same again.